All right, everyone, this is Mr. Burford. I'm going to walk you through our book project. I'm going to show you the screen of what you're working on for that project, and I'll kind of give a couple examples of what you can be doing as well. So you'll get a document called Remote Learning Book Project. It's the same type of project we did for the Miracle Worker at the beginning of the year. So you all will remember that. It's the paper with a bunch of boxes on it, and you fill in for each section, there's a different type of thing we're looking for. So let's read the directions. You're going to make a poster similar to what we did earlier this year when we read The Miracle Worker. The poster is to review some of the key literary language we used to discuss fiction and review elements of fiction we studied at the start of the year. All sixth graders should have left Twain with a fiction book that you should be reading and completing the signpost sheet that was wrote in March when we first kind of left school. Use that book or a book of your choice to make a poster with the following parts below. So you can't use Ghost, but I'm going to use Ghost as an example for what your project could look like. If you need a book, email me so I can send you an ebook or an audiobook that you could use to do this if you don't have a book at home that you want to use. You're actually going to have 2 weeks to work on this. We're going to have reading, writing, and social studies work on Monday and Wednesday. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll have science and math. Then Fridays will be time for specials and makeup work. So you'll have 2 weeks, basically 4 days, because you've got Tuesdays and Thursdays to work on this project. At the end of this, you will either turn it in when we return to school, or if we're not coming back to school, you'll take a photo and send it over email to us. So make sure you watch this video to help you kind of figure out how to do it. So the title of your book will go at the top. Before I get too far in this, I want to remind you also that you can use Google Slides, and I'm going to share an example of slides to you so you can see what this looks like. You can definitely make a poster, do it by hand, or do it on your computer, but if you'd like, then you can also use Google Slides. So I kind of have a couple options for how you can do this. So the title of the book goes to the top. I'm going to use the example Ghost. Again, you guys can't use that, but this is our example. So Ghost would go at the top. Neatly colored illustration. You can just copy an image into there, or you can draw one if you're doing it by hand. For Ghost, I might use sunflower seeds. I might use the silver bullets, the shoes that he stole. I might use the track uniform. Theme. The theme is the lesson that you learn in the book. So for Ghost, he learns to face his problems, that he can't run from everything. So I would write that down. I would add some text evidence of where he learns about that theme. How does that theme get revealed throughout the book? So what kind of things does he go through to where he learns that he has to face his problems? You've got the next 3 boxes are characterizations. So you need to choose a character. You write their name on that line. And then you give a trait about that character. For instance, I might put Coach as my first one. So I'd put Coach on that line. For the trait he shows would be being tough but caring. So I'd write that down. I'd show a quote that shows how he's tough on Ghost sometimes, but it's because he cares about him. Where it says quote analysis here, you're going to actually, so you'll write the quote where it says quote. Where it says quote analysis, you explain the quote. So say, why is that quote important? What does it show you about Coach? How does it show that he's caring but tough? You do that for 3 different characters. So using the Ghost example, I might choose Mr. Charles, I might choose Coach, I might choose Ghost's mother, and do a characterization of all of them. Symbolism. When we say symbolism, we're talking about something that represents something larger than itself. So maybe the uniform for the track team represents Ghost feeling accepted, or maybe the sunflower seeds represent his past with his father. So I would write those down and explain, how do they show that? What's the symbolism there? Internal conflict. Internal conflict is a problem that a character faces inside of themselves. So Ghost facing his anger and how he's always feeling that. He describes it like the red rising up inside of him. So for internal conflict, I could write about Ghost's anger. External conflict, we know Ghost has a bully, Brandon Simmons, at school, so I would write about Brandon and Ghost and how they have issues with each other and how Ghost tries to deal with that. How does the narrator's point of view affect the book? That's going to ask, basically, is there a narrator in the book, and are they part of the book or not part of the book? In Ghost basically tells the story, so it's first-person point of view. The narrator is just Ghost, the character from the book. He shares his thoughts and his feelings, and we kind of really get to know what he's thinking inside throughout the book. We know his feelings about Mr. Charles, his feelings about Brandon, and the point of view affects the book because we really get to see all the internal conflicts that Ghost is facing. Freytag's pyramid is the parts of the plot. So you're going to explain what's the exposition, who are the characters that are important, who's the setting, what's the background that I need to know. The rising action, what's the conflict? So not getting in trouble in school is a big conflict for Ghost. Becoming the greatest, he always wants to set a world record in something. That's a conflict for him. How does he become the best track runner? Climax. Climax would be like the turning point in the book. Maybe in Ghost when he steals those shoes and starts to go on the run and worry about the consequences. That's a pretty high point in the book. I think that could be a climax. Falling action. Falling action shows the results of what happens in the climax. So now Ghost is worried about, are people going to find him, find out that he stole the shoes, etc. Then lastly, resolution. Resolution would be the very ending of the book. What happens at the end? He faces Brandon and he starts the race as his family cheers for him. So I'll show you an example of what it looks like on slides. You can do it on slides or make a poster. And of course, you can always email with questions, or I will be holding office hours, meaning I can meet with you by video from 10 to 12 o'clock any day. All right, let me know if you have any other questions about it, and good luck.